What's up? What's up? Welcome to another market recap. Today is October 2nd, 2025. So I had one trade last night, this euro pound, for a slight loss. But all things considered, I think it was a nice trade. It just didn't really play out, unfortunately. Talked about this yesterday, but I didn't have really any qualms with it. Nice solid break, 1 hour CBO, 4 hour IBO. There's a 10-minute ACB bouncing off the 200 EMA, right? Leverage for me kind of sucks on pound pairs. So I chose to do a 2-to-1 position sizing on this because that allows me to risk my max 3% that I'm looking for. Then price pulled back, gave an entry on a 15-second time frame. Switch this. Yeah, it gave an entry on a 15-second time frame. Blow this up a little bit right here. Essentially like this little trend, a break of that EMA, and that's where I entered. And then price just kind of chopped sideways for a little while. It was holding this kind of support. You know, price came down right here. It technically had broken the 10-minute 50, but it hadn't really broken these lows yet. And then as soon as it broke the 10-minute 50, it retraced. So I was a little patient on executing P1 on this because an immediate execution of P1, granted I would have been above the 200 EMA on the 10-minute, but on my hourly time frames, a immediate P1 would have put my stop where this dotted red line is, which is below the 1 hour 50 and 1 hour 200. So I wouldn't really been protected per se, other than by a 10-minute time frame. So I was kind of waiting to see a little bit more. But we eventually got this, this initial break, pull back, a lower high, and then we finally did break that level right there. On the close of this candle below that level, I moved my stop to P1, which essentially removed most of the risk from this trade for me. I didn't want to clip the high. I wanted to at least still be protected. So at that time, I gave it a little bit of a buffer above the 200 EMA, hoping it would hold price. Because price action on all the time frames is honestly pretty clean. But either way, price reversed right after I executed P1, kind of did a little while, and then eventually took me out of the trade for negative 0.24R. So just a really small loss. Isn't too bad, but managed correctly. Without that P1 execution, this trade would have been a full loss. And just didn't really play out. The EMAs didn't hold like we were anticipating. And then we didn't really get a nice kind of follow through here on this breakdown. But luckily we got enough of a breakdown to be able to execute P1. But all things considered, I like the trade. It's just didn't work out. The other pound trades, this pound Swiss had an entry the same time as euro pound. But since this is already kind of hitting the 4 hour 200, I preferred euro, which had a little nicer of price action in my opinion. It did have a better pop, but I think there was Swiss news right here, so it had a decent kind of little pop right there. But again, this is kind of a 2-to-1 position sizing because 4-to-1 didn't really fit because you wouldn't have been protected by EMAs that well. This trade didn't work. I think pound Mexican never really pulled back, just kind of chopped around. Pound PLN didn't really play out either. Kiwi CAD, so the Kiwi pairs, unfortunately never really pulled back. I mean, you had this spikiness right here at market rollover. Like, I guess it got treated as the pullback, and price just ran from there. So no really way to get into these trades for Kiwi CAD or Kiwi Swiss. But both did play out. And then these knock trades I had, they didn't really present entries. They maybe could have, you want to be hyper aggressive on like a 15-second time frame, but I didn't love, like, Euro knock was the one I preferred the most, but it kind of formed this double bottom in a way. So it looks like on the 1 hour before it reversed. And then had some pretty strong momentum as it was reversing here. So, but by this time, I had finally gone to bed. So I went to bed after I closed that Euro pound. I did a quick scan, see if there's something else I could take. I didn't see anything that was pressing, so I chose to go to bed since it was sort of 5 o'clock in the morning for me at that point. Yeah, there's potential one of these could have been taken, but none of them really played out. And then, ironically, like my oddball trades here, they didn't really fit in the other groups. Like this Aussie yen, it's kind of a meh trade, right? Like I position size, I looked at it, there really wasn't a way to protect. You can only get protection from the 1 hour 50, but not really the 200, so the 4 hour 50. So I wasn't too about it. 10-minute price action was okay, but chose to stay out. But this trade played out. And then Euro Singapore played out as well. I think this may have been a trade. Yeah, I closed my pound trade around 5 something, so around this point. So this was a potential trade I probably could have taken if I would have stayed up a little bit longer and waited for this kind of entry right there happened on the 2-minute, 15-second time frame, this kind of trend. It's potential. So, but yeah, these oddball pairs are the ones that actually played out. Same thing for a dollar Mexican. I would have preferred price to break a little higher here before the pullback to get kind of like a proper break and retest of the EMAs, both on the 4 hour and 1 hour. 10-minute price action was pretty clean, but didn't really get the EMA break and retest that I was looking for. But it played out. Either way, that was my session. I'm going to go build my watch list for the upcoming session. I'll catch you guys here in a minute. All right, and we're back. Let's see if we can't make this a little quick today. Two kind of groups, a pound group and a dollar group. They're all kind of odd. There's no like clean setups. I think this pound czar is probably one of the cleaner setups. It's just the spread on it currently is astronomical, so I'm not sure if it's going to be tradable for me. I don't think the spread on this calms down for me until London, and likely this entry will occur before then, I imagine. But nice kind of 1 hour IBO. Prices squeeze. Started, consolidating right here. Nice kind of double bottom, break up, break a trend. So wave 1 playing a wave 3 IBO. Nice kind of, run on your daily time frame, 4 hour almost, in need of a pullback. Looks pretty good. It's just spread if I'll be able to trade or not. Pound CAD is probably one of the more interesting pairs to me for this evening. I don't like this price action right here is weird, right? Like if you just kind of omit this, so towards the end of the day as well as after market rollover right here, just omit it and just look at this kind of pullback right here on your 2-minute time frame. It looks okay. And it is still a little odd, but I think most things fit. Like pound CAD's been sitting at this daily level now for a while, and this just kind of closed with these daily almost tweezers, which tweezers essentially represent a double top on a lower time frame, and you have that on your 4 hour time frame right here. You have that on your 1 hour time frame right here. You have a clear break of trend on the 1 hour. The 4 hour candle though is a little weird, right? Like a kind of close retesting this overall trend line. So not the best, but 1 hour price action looks okay. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. It's kind of like a wave 5 IBO in a way, or you can start counting the waves from the second high right here as well. So this would be a wave 3 in that case. So either scenario, it fits. On the 10-minute time frame, You know, you have this kind of horizontal level right here that it respected pretty well, broke below it strongly, came back, hit it, and now is kind of consolidating there as well. So I think this trade has potential for a short. Just the 4 hours a little weird, right? But your daily's all right, your 1 hour's all right, 10 minutes all right. You got levels. It's in value, so it's essentially an entry is like right now on it. I'm kind of waiting to see if we get maybe like a double top here, but I might miss this entry if so, if that's what I'm waiting for. All right, you kind of have this spike right at, yeah, we'll see. There's some other pairs that are similar to it, like this pound Singapore, kind of similar price action on your 4 hour, your 1 hour. I got euro pound flag just to continue to watch this. I still like the price action overall on the 4 hour. 1 hour pulled back pretty substantially, but just waiting to see what happens. But pound Singapore, pound CAD, pretty similar, as well as pound dollar right here is similar. Pound dollar, you have a break and a retest of your 50. So essentially an IBO on your daily time frame. It's kind of been this CBO ACB-esque, but similar kind of double top here on your 4 hour, 1 hour, and a clear break below. So it's fitting with that overall daily bias to go short. So I think this might be an option as well. Just think the levels line up a little bit better on pound CAD. But pound CAD, pound Singapore, pound dollar, all very similar. Dollar Mexican, kind of watching this for a wave 5 CBO. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, play wave 5. Just needs to pull back a little further for me. But I don't love how it's already rejecting the 200 EMA. So I do love the overall price action. I mean, we talked about this yesterday as we were looking at this. I would have preferred the trade yesterday, to be honest. So I don't know if this is something I'll really take today. It was a nicer trade yesterday. This is kind of like a second CBO in a way. So I don't know, but it's an option. Aussie dollar, kind of similar to these other pound pairs, just not really that great of a daily level. But it is kind of a CBO here on your 1 hour time frames. If you kind of ignore what this candlestick looks like, it's basically an IBO on your 4 hour time frame, and it's lining up to be like an ACB on the 10 minute. So it's interesting. It has potential. I don't love this low right here, right? But it could get a retest right here and a follow through back to these lows, and then from there reverse. I could see that happening. So it's an option. Euro dollar, very similar. Daily's in need of a pullback, so it fits with this overall dollar bullish bias that we have pretty much in all these pairs. Pound dollar, again, I kind of already went over this, similar to pound CAD. It fits in that dollar bias. And then dollar PLN, right, as well fits in the dollar bias. This was an ACB on your 1 hour time frame earlier in the week. It didn't really play out, but price just kind of chopped sideways and has now formed a kind of a double bottom and a breakout upwards. So it's interesting. You're still kind of sitting below the daily 50, which is an ideal. And then I don't love, again, all of these pairs have just weird 4 hour closes. Like the 1 hours are just break and retests, but it made the 4 hour candles look weird. But either way, it's really all I've got. I think I only have one Kiwi pair still on development watch. You could almost say this is an IBO today, but I just don't like the levels enough for that to be a thing. Pound Kiwi. I don't really like levels here either. CAD Swiss still waiting for a squeeze. So it seems like there's this dollar CAD kind of bias coming into the market. Like most of your CAD pairs are starting to look like bullish CAD, and then most of your dollar pairs are starting to look bullish dollar. So if we get a bullish CAD move, it should break out this CAD Swiss. Dollar CAD here. Be interesting to see what happens with this, both with that kind of bullish CAD dollar bias that there is. Which one of these win? Still looking for an eventual breakdown, so like a stronger CAD bias for like an IBO on your daily time frame. Dollar Singapore. I had this on a watch for a weekly setup. It never quite pulled back to where I was looking for. It technically hit like 0.5 fib and whatnot, but I was looking more so for retracement to this previous high, the 1 hour 200. And you can see my alert right here. It never really got triggered. Got close. So, but again, this fits with most of these other dollar pairs that we have. You could argue there's a trade on this today as well. So, and then EuroCAD, still waiting for price to inevitably break down at some point. So, yeah, once either one of these CAD pairs break down, this should be some pretty nice trades. And hopefully they give us some pullbacks and some entries. Either way, that's all I've got. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.